to see a colour. So over the Easter break I went up to the Hawkesbury, up to the Australian Street Rod Nationals, and it was held up there over 5 days, but I just cruised in for the day on the Sunday, and I was going through their program, and it's the 50th Silver Jubilee, and I was trying to think back how long ago it was that I actually was at the one in Mildura, and I went through the information there, and 1981 was Mildura, and the first one was 1973 in Narrandera. So the Nationals are held every second year over the Easter break, and originally, like I said, in Narrandera, and it's been there a few times, and there is another rod run that runs in Narrandera year after year, where the Nationals move all over the place. So lots and lots of cars, as you can tell by the length of the video, and to my understanding there was over 800 entrants, and there was about 400 people or 400 caravans on site as well. Really awesome venue, lots of room to move around, and as you can see, a cruise route, and the cruising primarily is done on the Thursday and the Friday, where they actually have the cruise route open and the cars cruise around, so would have been nice there to been there for that. Have a look at this black thing, how nice is that? So in a minute we're going to wander out on the oval, and the majority of the cars were on the oval, but there was still some others like this one that were displayed amongst the traders. So they had a good setup there with a stage with the dance floor, and which you can just see in the background there, and also a lot of food vendors, and we managed to get some nice lunch there on the Sunday, and it was a beautiful day. So part of that 5-day program, they also have, like I said, the cruising, but they also have dancing lessons for the 50 style dancing and everything like that, and they also had some dance displays on the Saturday and the Sunday. And then on the Sunday there's a pin-up pageant and some other prizes and things that go on, and it's all part of that rock and roll / hot rod lifestyle, I guess. And obviously I've always liked that. It was interesting when we were walking around on the oval with all the cars that I said to Heather, I really enjoy coming to a show like this and looking at the cars, but I'm sure now in my mind that I'll never ever build a hot rod, because it's just not something that grabs me enough that I want to spend the hours. So have a look at that. So just to see a colour. When Louise first seen the footage, she just said, wow, look at the colours. So as you can see, this car's sort of parked everywhere, and it's pretty laid back, and lots of shade and seating and plenty of toilets and all that sort of thing at this venue. It was really, really good. So we'll talk through a bit with the cars out on the oval. I'm going to probably show up my lack of knowledge in some cases, because there was a lot of stuff there that I had no idea at all what it was. So the first thing that came fairly evident to me was that you can actually pick the age a little bit of how long the car's been built by the colours and the styles of paintwork and wheels, and a lot of these cars clearly have been built and just used and kept the same way, and they tend to show their era. And then I was a little bit surprised to see a few what I'd class as street machines at the Hot Rod Nationals, like this Monaro coming up. And I'm not sure what their cut-off date is, but clearly there was a handful of cars there that are not what I'd see as a hot rod, but nice to see them there anyhow. So you'll see me go up and over every now and again. I'll just try and get around the people, and sometimes I might look like I stop on a car for a while, and that's probably because someone's in my way, so I just stay on the car and move on to the next one. Lots of blown cars. Check out the size of the wheels on the back of this. I didn't get down on the knee to have a look how wide they were, but they looked very reminiscent of what was on the back of the coupe, which was like a 1515, and I reckon they were probably getting up around that size. So like I said, the weather was very kind to us. It took me a couple of hours to get through all the cars out on the oval. Unfortunately, Heather was with me, so she put the hat on my head as we left the car, and I was glad that happened because you knew you'd been out there even though it was only around 20 degrees. How's that for bare metal? Bit of a traditional style hot rod, that one, looked like a small block Chevy in there. Have a look at the mountain motor there. So if you're looking for a tow vehicle, my neighbour was up there with his hot rod, and he was telling me that that one's for sale. He was a bit keen on that. He's just sold his Peterbilt and was keen to try and do a deal on that. I don't know whether that happened. I haven't seen it turn up. Now this one is very unusual. Oh, just trying to dodge people there. So we got there right on when the gate opened, and as you can see there's already plenty of people there. So the public will let in on the Saturday and the Sunday from 10 until 4 because it really is an entrance event. Before I get carried away, check out the induction on that, it looks pretty cool. Oh look, it's a 429. I was going to say it's a pretty wide engine, but there was no shocky towers. And talking about wide, let's have a Hemi. Chrysler Hemi. I love the way they do that. It doesn't quite fit, so we'll just cut a hole. Very classic hot rod styling. There was lots of very unique induction systems on some of the older hot rods. Some of that sort of early 70s, you know, the cross ram tile thing, or the, you know, the 6 Stromies. Yeah, some of these cars, if you're sort of thinking you might have liked to have seen a bit more of it, as I said, it took me 2 hours to get through. There was, I think, close to 700-800 cars out on the oval. So I've just tried to get a feel for the majority of what was there. and if there was something there that stood out to my eye, then obviously I had a bit closer look. I took a second glance at that one because my dad had one like that. I think it's a 39 convertible that my brother ended up with and then got moved on, so I don't think it was it, but brought back a few memories of that one. Yeah, this was a standout Motorex car quite some years ago and still looking very sharp and clean, and I think it had, I had a for sale on it, and by memory, no, I'm not going to try and remember. It was like 160, I think, or 130. And as we all know today, it's always sounds a lot, but you try and build one for the same cost. It's an unusual colour. So that, wondering where I was going then, that's all the caravans. I was just trying to think, why am I going over here? But I obviously missed the first row as well, but that was just to give you an idea of the campground where all the entrants, or a lot of the entrants, were staying. Blown ejected. So it was a bit of an anniversary of the 2 buckets, and I'm not sure whether Louisa's got it in this one or the next one, but there were quite a lot of buckets in one of the halls, and I've got that footage of that, and I'm not sure if it's in this one or the next one. There's some pastel colours from the 90s. It's an unusual little pickup bed on that one. This HR was very clean, nicely restored. They call me the king of bling. This red thing coming up now, I tell you what, the shine on this thing, the amount of chrome and what appeared to be a candy red, it was just gleaming, this car. Now this one here, I sort of had a look and thought, oh yeah, turbos or whatever with all the blue pipes on it, and just as I was heading around, there was a couple of guys taken in by it, and it was a massive diesel, like a Cummins diesel. So something for everyone. I like that too. Tell you what, one day I'm going to have a go at that. I always admire the amount of effort that goes into doing that, but I've never had a go at it myself. Righto, so we've jumped back to the next row now, so we'll wander along here and see what we've got. Have a look how low that is. The the actual running boards on that were sitting on the grass. There's some custom work in that thing. I personally think those grey colours need a little bit of an accent pin line or something, but I just noticed that one was a Cleveland, and I was surprised to see how many hot rods had Clevelands in them, because they traditionally always seem to be Windsors, but I reckon I've seen a good dozen or more with nice Cleveland engines in them. Of course, plenty with Chevs in them as well. Blue and green should never be seen without a colour in between, they say, so that flame job obviously didn't fit to that build. Check out that classic styling with the flathead with a couple of stromies on it and the copper and brass. I really do like that look. How you going, buddy? So you don't see too many with the full height roof left like that red one just had. So I believe a large proportion of these cars are driven to the event, and or if they're not actually driven to the event, they might be trailered there, but then they get driven around, and a lot of them stay in town at the motels and actually drive back to the motel and park up and then come out again the next day. So it's one of those classic things about the hot rod fraternity. Very unusual side glass in that panel van. Oh, that green one there looks like some of the old models they used to make back in the day, the Boris style builds. One thing about hot rodders, they're not frightened of a bit of a colour, are they? It's funny, you know, that lineup of cars there, I looked at that and I thought that would really be a good thumbnail for this show, and I went back looking for it with the still camera and couldn't find them, and there it is, staring me in the eye. Look at them flames. So we might have to see if we can pull that off the video. Now, I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this car won the event, because I was a bit taken by the rocker covers being the same colour as the car and all, and it was just a really, I keep saying sharp all the time, but that's my saying for a nice car. Something that's sharp to me is something that doesn't catch your eye. There's sort of nothing wrong with it. Everything looks right and in its right place. I've got a feeling this has got a 6 litre or something in it. Well, that's a big front on the tilt, isn't it? This thing just really popped in the sun. Even Heather said, have a look at that. It was just really, really out there. Someone might be able to tell me what that thing there is. I have no idea. Check out the size of the fuel cap hanging off the back of this thing. So this car's been at Motorex and Summernats and those sorts of things as well. Really nice car. I've done a lot of judging over the years, but I was up at Mackay a couple of years back and it was up there, so I got a good opportunity to have a really close look at that car. One of the few customs there was probably, I don't know, a handful that I've seen. Another street machine. If you're towing for work or play, make sure your vehicle's up to the task. Your gross vehicle mass can be upgraded to keep everything legal and above board. Find your nearest stockist at lovellsauto.com.au and talk to the professionals about getting your vehicle right for the job. And thanks as always to Lovells, and their range is continuing to grow all the time, and they work very closely with all the state departments to get all those things legal, and it is a fairly big chore to get all that done, and they are working away diligently coming up with new model kits all the time. Now this to me is a hot rod that has everything. So in my eye, the wheel combination, you know, I'm guessing a 32 by the look of it, Hemi, blown, injected. It's got the moon tank out the front. I mean, it just ticks all the boxes. And then I head around the back and you'll see it's got a quick change under it as well. And it's a bit like, I might build a hot rod. This wouldn't be far from it. It really is a bucket list car, that's for sure. How low can you go? Crazy. So if you're wondering what this is, these were a kit car, and I'm pretty sure came out of Sydney. I've seen a few of them over the years. So by about this stage my arm's getting pretty sore hanging on this camera, but it's what we've chosen to do, so we've just got to soldier on because the cars just keep coming, and I mean the variety was amazing, both in style of build, the types of cars that they started with, and the colours and the engines they use, just unbelievable. Triple Strommies on that one. I always get taken by the creativity by these guys that do these rat rods, that classic styling, because clearly they don't find them like that, so then they've got to go and collect the bits and get everything to just fit right to the era that they're sort of recreating. Very creative. Nice setup. I like the use of the pin lines on this, the little V8 logo and the flutes, and then the contrasting colour just added something to it. Bit of creativity in this one. Check out the billet wheels. Classic hot rod, eh? It's another row down, so I hope you're not getting too bored, but I mean, there was so many cars. And I mean, it's funny, you go to a show like this, and if I leave some out, then people go, oh, you missed a row, or you did that. So I'm just trying to bring everything that was there. So Laurie had his 55, 56 there, and man, it still looks as good as it ever did. Yeah, time capsule, unbelievable car. Looked like it was built yesterday. Not sure what this was. Check out the unusual front on that, where the guards come around the headlights. Don't know if I've ever seen one of those before. Another unusual engine combo there with a straight 6. Another top 10 Summernats car that's been in and out of the top 10 over a very long period of time. Awesome car. Pro 34, it's been around a long time as well. Always been a super tough car. Now this custom coming up now, I really struggle to get too much footage of it, there's too many people there, but this car is a restored original custom FJ, and it was up at the Hotrods show in Sydney last year. Seen it a couple of times now. I believe it is like a south coast of Sydney car, and always got a big crowd around it. Wouldn't miss that coming down the road, would you? It's a great look, that staggered injection on those Chevys. I've always loved that look. Nice two-door Falcon with a massive engine. Bit of an unusual engine swap there, looks like a 308 in that one. Now an XC with a fairly substantial turbo hanging off the barrow there. And it had some unusual features, a different dash in it. And the back bumper, it had some unusual reshaping. Can't quite get my head around exactly what they've done there, but pretty cool gasser. So think we've only got one row to go now, so I'll take the opportunity while I can to thank a few people. So thanks to my wife Heather for putting up with all these things I do and getting out and about, looking at car shows all the time. And of course to Lovell's, so Lovell's Automotive Suspensions. Obviously they do stuff for your tow vehicle, but they also do lots of different swings, springs, sway bars, poly bushes, all those sorts of things. So thanks for their continued support, enable us to get out and about and get all this editing done and bring these shows to you. And we'll have a second part to this as well, because there was other cars that weren't out on display that I've managed to get some of those as well, plus the traders and all of those T-buckets I was talking about. And of course we're heading towards now, heading down to Motorex fairly shortly, so we'll have some really good stuff coming out of there as well. So I'm trying to mix it up a bit and not just make it all street machines or all indoor shows. It'll be a bit of everything, and going to head up to the GT Nationals at Bathurst later in May as well, and bring you some footage from there. It was interesting, this thing had electronic fuel injection, but it looked old school. I thought it was quite clever the way that was done. So Paul Beck was there as well from Killer Rides. Paul gets around a lot more than me, I can tell you. That every time I see a show on, Paul seems to be there, and obviously he was an entrant here as well, and I caught up with him at Penrith at Homemakers for the Cars Under the Stars as well on the Saturday night. So we'll have a bit of footage for that on the weekend, and seem to catch up with Paul more now that I'm out looking around as well. So hard to beat a red 32, isn't it? That classic chrome firewall as well. It's interesting how we go through all these phases. I mean, I've very rarely ever seen one of these style trucks, and all of a sudden now everyone seems to be finding one and doing it up. It's a really awesome one when I was at Melbourne for Showcars Melbourne that I'm sure is going to bob up at some other shows because it was a stunning piece of work. That's nicely done. Check out that roof. So that's all steel and painted to look a bit like the old ragtop roof. A bit of effort in that, I can tell you. Nice convertible. A Connor van or a Connor truck or something. It's sort of almost a current styling with those wheels that seem to be everywhere, and the engine with the black carbies and all. I'm a bit more of a purist when it comes to the hot rods, I think. That's why our sport's such a great sport, is that anything goes, and whatever you like you can do. So I'm thinking that's just about a wrap now. So if you've enjoyed this one, there'll be another one next week with the other half of Louise will get that edited up and I'll do the voiceover. And thanks for joining us again, and we look forward to showing you some more stuff. So I'm pretty sure we'll have Penrith up on the weekend, and we'll continue to get out and about and bring you as many different cars and different styles of cars as we can. And don't forget, while I think of it, please subscribe if you can. It helps me to continue to bring this stuff to you. Ask any questions if you've got any. You might be able to fill in some spaces for the things that I didn't know about today. But I'm always happy to answer some questions. And if you just happen to give us a like as well, that helps us to progress the show. So this was all cars just parked around the back of the where they were doing the dancing with the bands and stuff playing, and it was quite incredible that there was just more and more. Every time you turned around there was another 20 or 30 hot rods. So there's plenty more to show you in the next one as well. So this will be us heading out the gate now. So from what I could see, this is the local Hot Rod Club's club rooms, and it was a cool little setup that they had there. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget, subscribe, click the like button, and we'll see you on the next show.